Hey guys, what's going on? So, this is going to be my super review for Elio, Jurassic World Rebirth, and I just came back today from seeing Megan 2.0. I meant to do the Elio and the Jurassic World Rebirth because I saw them back to back on a Monday and a Thursday. I went to the Monday secret screening, which ended up being Jurassic World Rebirth, and then that Thursday I saw Elio, and now it is the next Thursday, and I just came back from seeing Megan 2.0. And I thought to do these in 3 separate videos, and the more I thought about it, 1, that would take a bunch of time. 2, I don't have a lot to say about any of them. And 3, they're all kind of the same grade as well. They're all kind of okay. To varying degrees. If you want my non-spoiler review for each of these, I think that, or my too long didn't watch review for each of these, I think that Jurassic World and Megan 2.0 have really high highs and then really low lows, and it makes it like an okay movie. And then Elio is an okay movie throughout. It doesn't have any big highs, it doesn't really have any big lows. It's just kind of okay the whole way, and then it ends. With Jurassic World Rebirth, I came out of that movie, I'll do that first because I watched it first. I came out of that movie with very much nostalgia for all of the Jurassic Park movies. I own all of them except for Dominion. I bought like a 5-pack of all of the movies. I saw the first one as a kid. And I love Jurassic World. And in that trilogy, it very much feels like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, where I really like Force Awakens. Last Jedi takes some weird turns, but it's kind of okay. And Dominion, promising to be the sequel trilogy to end all the trilogies, is really bad. And they bring back legacy characters for no reason, and it's really bad. And that's how the Jurassic World franchise, like the 3 movies, like that's how that felt. And in the same way that Jurassic World Dominion, Rise of Skywalker felt like an apology letter for Last Jedi, this movie feels like the apology letter for Jurassic World Dominion. And at my height of really liking this movie, that was the best thing that I could say about this movie. It has the same double plot line that Jurassic World Dominion has, but I think it does it better. It doesn't have locusts, which is a plus. I know that comparing it to Jurassic World Dominion isn't that high of a bar, but there's the bar, because that was the last one that we just saw. And I think that it is a movie where you better like every single moment with a dinosaur, because you're never seeing that dinosaur ever again. There's like the Mosasaurus, Spinosaurus water scene, you never see them again. There is a raptor scene, you never see it again. There's a Dilophosaurus scene, you never see it again. If you saw the trailer, those are the scenes. Those are the scenes in this movie. Those are all of the action scenes in this movie. There is the Quetzalcoatlus, the Pteranodon. That's the only scene that's basically in. It's in one other scene. The T-Rex scene, that's the only scene that's in. The Distortus Rex, that they definitely don't call the Distortus Rex, but that is its name. That is basically, you've seen the 2 scenes that is in. And it feels very much like a slasher movie. It feels like they just needed like a reason for people to go to this island and to create tension on this island until the people escape the island. And it's kind of like if 5 teenagers were like, oh my god, we should check out that abandoned amusement park over there. And then they go to the abandoned amusement park, and then slowly but surely they get thrown into terror situation after terror situation, and then you end the movie where somebody escapes, and the movie just cuts and it ends, because that's it. That's the whole movie. And that amount of plot, that amount of character development of teens going to a place to get murdered and then escapes, that is the amount of character in this movie. you will leave this movie excited in the same way that you probably watch that slasher movie. Like, each of those moments, each of those individual set piece moments are very exciting, but you kind of leave this movie a little bit empty. Sean Chandler calls them Taco Bell movies because they are empty calories. You kind of feel full like when you're watching it, and when I got out of this movie, I thought it was pretty good. But then, you know, like a couple days will go by and you'll be like, oh yeah, I did watch that movie. It's one of those. And that was no more apparent than when I watched Elio. Because at the very least, Elio, even being a nonsense movie, because they're both nonsense movies. Both Elio and Jurassic World Rebirth are nonsense movies. It's just a bunch of nonsense for the sake of a movie, right? We have to go to this island in order to find these dinosaurs to do a thing. And that's why we're here, because the plot said so. Elio is also a nonsense movie. It's very much, it was a very strange watch, especially right after Jurassic World Rebirth. Because skipping ahead, I left this movie thinking about this movie. It proposes questions. It makes you think about life and humanity in all great ways Pixar movies do. Right? All Pixar movies do this. They make you think about yourself and about, things that come up in the movie that I won't spoil. Because I think you should watch this one. Of all three of them, I think you should watch this one. But it is a nonsense movie, and it was a strange watch because like you go into this cartoon world that's, animated, right? But Elio lives on Earth. He lives in the real world. So when you see sand and you see water, everything looks normal, right? And then he gets abducted by aliens, and then he goes into a cartoon world, and it felt very much like for like a little bit, until I got used to it, it felt very much like Space Jam. Like Space Jam, where Michael Jordan is like in the real world, but then he goes into a cartoon world and it's all wacky and surreal. But it's a cartoon going into a cartoonier world. And it was so weird to even like think of that. But that is how that feels. And when he goes into this even more cartoony world, that is the alien world, it feels very, like there is like 10, 15 minutes of just expository dialogue given at such a rapid rate. Now, if you're an MCU fan, which I trust you've seen MCU movies, I'm gonna like translate this into MCUese for you. It would be like if somebody was dropped into, or like somebody was going out about their day, and then Nick Fury comes in and they snatch the guy, and he's like, I'm sorry I had to pull you away from your job, but my name is Nick Fury. This is Maria Hill. That over there, he's Tony Stark. We're part of the Avengers Initiative. We're part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and we need to, we're developing a team called the Avengers, and you need to go to Asgard. You need to talk to Thor, and you need to tell him to tell his brother Loki to show you Mjolnir, and you need to get Mjolnir from Loki, and with the grace of Thor. So you need to tell Thor to talk to his dad, Odin of Asgard, to let you hold Mjolnir so that you can come down so we can defeat Thanos. And then Elio is like, okay, how do I find Thor? And he just accepts everything. That is what happens for like a good 10, 15 minutes as soon as Elio gets dropped in the world. It's just like, and then he's like, okay, where do I find him? He just accepts everything. He just, and it was so weird to me because I was trying to like keep up with like all of these names and these plot points and these things that the movie is trying to tell me is very important. It's like, okay, you're Nick Fury and your partner is Maria Hill and that over there is Iron Man. Okay, got it. And he needs to go to Asgard. Okay, Asgard is a place. Okay, and he needs to talk to Loki. And he needs to convince Loki to talk to Thor. Got it. That's his brother. Okay. Like, there's a good, like, 10-minute chunk where they just do this to you. And I was like, is the movie almost over? Like, and it was a very strange experience. And like, once you settle into the cartoonier world of Elio, and it, like, continues, right? Like, it's a nonsense world, right? It felt very much, you know, like, to go back to the MCU, it felt very much like an Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, where they just, like, rattle off, like, you get dropped into this world and they just rattle off a bunch of stuff to you that you don't care about. And then they give you a plot that you have to do, and then the main characters just do it. It felt very much like that, because that is exactly what Quantumania is. It's real people going into a cartoon world. But I think that that with all of its nonsense, I think that there is a lot of heart in this movie. I think that there is something that you can take away from watching this movie that you cannot take away from watching either Megan 2.0 or Jurassic World Rebirth. Those two movies are just about action set pieces, and those set pieces are very cool, and then the movie just ends and there's nothing for you to take away from that. You're just like, okay, I guess that's it. I can go on with my life. There's no lesson to be learned. It's just entertainment for entertainment's sake, and it's fine. You know, it's fine, but you're not going to remember it, and that feels like why I would suggest Elio over these other two movies. Megan 2.0 was a frustrating watch. I thought that the original Megan was nonsensical. Like, it's just an insane premise to begin with. And I left that movie, and it was such a fun watch. It had heart. It had characters that you can attach yourself to. Once, you know, like, when you realize that Katie loses her parents, and the only, like, friend that she has is Megan, and Megan is a killer robot that kills people. You don't need to see Megan killing people in order for the movie to be interesting, because you are so invested in the relationship of this broken child who lost everything, who doesn't get, you know, like, her aunt doesn't get her either, even though she's trying, and Megan gets her, right? And it's this very heartwarming, like, and it feels weird to say, but it's a very heartwarming, like, tale of two friends, right? This movie strips all of that away and instead tries to do Mission Impossible. For all the good and all the bad that a Mission Impossible movie has. All of the action sequences, great. All of the, like, quippy one-liners that Megan has, amazing. Best part of this movie. And that's all the great in a Mission Impossible movie. And all the bad of a Mission Impossible movie, including what I just saw, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, or Final Reckoning. It has all the expository dialogue because it's an overly complicated movie for no fucking reason. There's no reason for this movie to be as complicated as it is, but because it's as complicated as it is, it needs to explain things. I liken this unto a Titanic sequel where Jack doesn't die, and Jack and Rose survive, and, you know, it's the continuation of that movie. Where the first movie made, you know, as much money as it did, right? And they're like, we need to make a sequel. And it's about Jack and Rose, and they go on a globe-trotting adventure. A globe spanning, they go to Africa, and they meet with the elephants, right? And they go to London, and, you know, like, they have to go to a club in London to do a spy thing, and they have to then travel to Brazil to do a jungle thing, right? And all the while, Cal has a team of people that's trying to track them down, and he's working with the CIA. The CIA is hot on their trail as well because they have the diamond. And Cal has assembled his own group, his own team, and you have to get to know the team that he's setting up in order to track down Jack and Rose that are on, doing adventures. And, and then you have to set up the FBI team that's trying to track down Cal and Jack and Rose. And, but behind the scenes, there's also a secret society of people that the diamond is actually an alien artifact. And so you have to develop the idea that the alien artifact keepers, they are also in this movie, and they have 50 people that you have to get to know. And you're like, the expansion of this movie did not need to be any of this. I could have accepted some of this. Some of this sounds interesting. Did we need to have all of it? And that's what Megan 2.0 feels like. It strips away the heart of what the original was until it remembers in the third act, in the last 20 minutes of this movie, until it remembers the heart of the original. And it's like, oh yeah, we need to get back to that. But the first 2 parts of this movie is just so much expository dialogue about people that they have to set up and ideas that they need to bring in, and they have to set up Amelia, and they have to set up the government, and they have to set up Gemma's team, and they have to set up where Katie is, and they have to set up why Megan is in this movie, and they have to set up another secret thing that I won't talk about. But there's just all of these things in this movie, and it's just with all these filmmakers who want to make extended versions of movies, like the 3-hour Snyder cut. Where's the extended version of this movie? Where are the deleted scenes of this movie? I hope that they come out with the DVD of this movie with the Megan 2.0, the shortened cut, the 45-minute shortened cut, where it's just all killer, no filler, as John Campea would say. I wish they just come up with a shortened version of this movie, and I think it would be a very good movie. Because all of the extra stuff that they decide to add to take away from the idea of Katie and Megan, or just Megan in general, the expansion that they decide to do in this movie in order to make it a genre-bending action spy film as opposed to a horror movie, I'm fine with the change. I love the difference between Happy Death Day Part 1 and Happy Death Day to You, right? Happy Death Day Part 1, straight horror movie. Happy Death Day Part 2, time travel horror movie. I'm fine with genre-bending change. But at the same time, Happy Death Day to You takes place seconds after the first movie ends, so it feels like the same characters. This movie takes place much later, years later after the first movie, and it feels like you're getting used to new characters because they have new dynamics, because they have new things that they are, like Gemma and Katie. Honestly, Megan in this movie is the most human character in this movie. She is the most three-dimensional, and that's probably a commentary on what they're trying to commentate on. But Megan is the most three-dimensional character in this movie who has feelings and emotion that no other character in this movie has. They just are one note in the same way that Jurassic World Rebirth characters are very one note. They are one note characters that have a specific a type of dialogue or a specific emotion range that does not variate. And Megan, she's just so fun, but she can be serious, but she can be funny, but she can be, she can be she can be angry, she can be sad, she can be a bunch of different things. And when you watch this movie, just notice every other human character. They are all the same. They have the same emotion the whole movie. And it's crazy to me. It's just such a frustrating watch because, again, like I said, the highs of like the action, the John Wick type action that they frame, the jokes that are in this movie are hilarious, but the script and the amount of plot is crazy. There is a shortened version of this movie where they don't need to do as much as they're trying to do. Like, I'm not against Jack and Rose the Adventure movie, Titanic 2, where they get onto another boat called the Titanic and try again. I'm not like a globe-trotting, they get on another boat, movie. I'm not against that. But at the same time, if it means that you need to also set up Cal and his, thing, and a secret society looking for the diamond, and the FBI team looking for all of them, if you need to set up all of these things, it just drags your movie down. And this movie is 2 hours and it felt like 3. Not just me, I noticed a lot of people like jumping on their phone. For either because the movie was boring at a bunch of different parts or because they were looking at their phone to check the time. Like, oh my God, this movie is still going. Like, oh my God, this movie is still going. Like, because it does, and that's how it feels. It drags because there's too much happening that didn't need to happen at all. And I want to like it, and I think it's okay. Like I said, I don't think Jurassic World Rebirth is great. I think it's okay. Like, the things that save it make it okay. And the things that like save it for like that, the reason why I would suggest this movie, Megan 2.0 to somebody, I think it makes this movie okay. Like, it's okay for the action and for the jokes, but like, you probably also won't remember this movie 3 days from now as well. Elio, at the very least, even though it's an okay movie, where not all of the jokes land, but some of them do. Not all of the action set pieces are great, but some of them are kind of okay. That, at the very least, leaves you on something to think about. Whereas these movies don't. They're just like, they're generic, they're action, like set piece movies. They're like moment movies. They're like really cool YouTube clip movies. You can't YouTube clip Elio. Like, the heart of Elio, you need to watch the movie. You could YouTube all the fun clips from Rebirth and Megan 2.0 and be done with it. And that's why I think that Elio, of all of these 3 movies, you should probably watch that. And these other 2 movies, you could probably watch the best of clips on YouTube.